Hey everybody, this is Deacon Mike. I'm going to do a low-key unboxing here. This is Korsun Pocket 2 from Jack Radey. It was published recently. It's on PacRim, and it's pretty thick. Looks like about a 3-inch box. Nice and heavy. Korsun Pocket 2, little Stalingrad and the Dnepr. There's the back. Little blow up of the map right here. Cool pics. What you get, of course, is February 10th, 1944. German 3rd Panzer Corps advancing in the final assault and the breakthrough of the Korsun Pocket. And let's do a little opening. Let's see if we can cut through this. Get myself, I got a scissor. And I just want to, I'm not going to talk too much about the game system or the nitty-gritty details of Korsun Pocket. I used to own the older version maybe 10 years ago or so. Let's get this guy out of shrink. I thought it was a fun game. Mostly I tooled around with it solo. I'm hoping, I have a friend who I'm trying to draw into gaming. Been doing kind of simple games, but we're about to move into medium level. So that's a pretty cool little painting right here. Looks to me like maybe looks like maybe even pastels, or it could be like a chalking. Kind of a fun graphic. You see this melee unfolding here. All right, let's pop this guy open and take a look. Nice thick box, very thick. Put that guy aside. Oh, of note, if you buy this, you'll get from PacRim this item outside the box is what came. So it was shrink wrapped, and I guess they must have, when they were collating, missed this item, right? So CRT, terrain effects chart, terrain key, got the fatigue effects. Like weather conditions are going to impact what happens in the game, of course. That makes sense on a Russian front basis. And you have non-terrain movement point costs here as well. Things like different conditions for entering zones of control in varying situations. So pretty detailed little elements. For instance, look at this ZOC visibility chart. And so what you see there are, units are all subject to these same conditions in terms of the level of the visibility that's in place. Do I project a ZOC into, right, a clear or swamp space, right? So, and then there's this reduction mechanic, right? Reduction. A strong ZOC is weak, a weak one is no longer a ZOC. So immediately you're seeing, there are these various levels of zones of control in place, right? All right, cool. Okay, remember that from the old game. All right, rules book. It's I'll say it's semi-glossy. I think that this will take a pencil okay, not a sharp one. You'd have to go a little bit dull if you wanted to put in some notes. Oops, sorry about bumping there. Nice graphics there built in. 2-column format. To me, this looks like maybe 14. I think maybe they went with 14-point font. You see some spots that have less font size for their examples and notes. All right, so not a lot of graphics on this. You can see the 2-column format going through up here. I recall it to be, a fairly complicated game to a degree. I do think my neighbor, who's been into, the simpler side of things, is ready to move on to medium level. We might do a scenario here or there. We're about to start an SCS game. I'm going to see how he does in Panzer battles. We'll just do a couple light scenarios there. Then we'll move into stuff that's got more intensity here. You got 28 pages of rules, right? Right, so that's a rules book. Put that here. And we got scenarios, right? Oh, nice little statement from Jack Radey. You have, all right, a bibliography. It's taking up most of page 31. And oh, look, historiography, some notes to players. It's a big game. Think big. So, pretty cool. Got some notes from the designer. Okay. Variety of maybe historical commentary here, about how things were unfolding in the campaign. Example of plays there, right? All right, so looks like 6, am I right? 7. I don't remember 8 scenarios. Yeah, there's 8 scenarios. You got the full Korsun Pocket campaign there. It's going to start you off, kind of light. There's a little bit of upfront stuff about the way the scenarios are organized, of course. Here you have the replacement rules. There's some optional rules here. See, Vatuten attacks, indicated as Rule 23, Scenario 1. And see, this one is 15 turns in length. Okay, let's double check some of the others in terms of their length. So that one's probably pretty doable. This Scenario 2, also 15 turns. That one's on 2 maps, B and D. The first scenario, backing up, see, it was on A and C. So C went 2 westernmost from that one, and you have the easternmost here. Scenario 3 is the formation of the pocket. That one is lasting, 25th January to 30th January night. And this one's all 4 maps, so pretty long game. Scenario 4, I'll rescue you, is 21 turns long. See, they're lengthening. Scenario 5 is titled Von Vollmann Tries Again. That one's 21 turns. Testing the Ring, 27 turns. Okay, that runs 1st February and 9th February at the night turn. So that's 9 full days. So see, there's 3 turns per day. Scenario 7, Massacre on the Ganoli Tikich. So that one is 24 turns. Right. The full campaign runs 72 turns. So that's a monstrous game, of course. Very cool. Great for conventions, right? Let's see here. Korsun Pocket situation map. Very cool, right? You can see bumped again. Keep that steady, sorry. Front and back. Right, here's February 10th situation, February 1st situation map. So you can kind of trace across these situation maps the way the campaign unfolds. This is pretty cool in the sense that, wow, it feels old school, the technique for indicating positions on World War II maps. Of course, this is a shrunk version of the game map. These have a kind of funny plastic feel to them. Very nice. Not glossy either. Just sort of I'd call it a matte finish, right? Another situation map set here. There's the 25th, and here is very cool, right? A blank map for recording situation. That's kind of neat. Nifty. All right. So here's map B. Right now. Let's see, this guy might be map A. See if I can find a little indicator on it. No, I don't see one. Yeah, that's map A. Taking a look at it, right? Pretty nice graphics. So, blocks for buildings. Pretty stylized. This reminds me of pretty much old school styling in terms of some of the graphics. Rivers are long hexsides, good tradition. Bridges. To me, this has a feel of, SPI and Avalon Hill in the late 70s and in the 80s, pretty simple sort of matte of colors, and pretty, I think, definitely readable in most spots. There's this one here bleeds a little bit into that graphic there. Pretty nice. And you see another map. Let's pop this guy open a bit more. These maps feel a little heavier and more glossy. Glad I got some plexiglass recently. Right, so that's map C. Svenegorodka is right over here. Medvin is up here. Morens there, so bigger cities. Definitely has this look of, Russia, right? Interesting graphic for their hills. I guess they wanted to be able to easily identify underneath a counter the fact that you're sitting on a hill there, right? All right, here's map D. Whoops. D. I like how there's a pretty big edge, right? See that nice margin on that side. Here's Spola, the city. Just open this guy a little bit. All right, Novomigorod, Ryminarovka. Just looking at some of these towns. Lipyanka, pretty classic place to do our campaigning work in the Russian Patriotic War, right? So they have a big city right there. I'll have to do some investigation here in terms of if they changed anything on the maps. I'm just not sure. All right, so this is interesting. This is the experience of the nostalgia from the first edition. These were weather widgets that you assemble, and you can, decide to use the historic weather or a variable weather, and the 4 widgets are placed on map D in a position. You can see how they're like shaped here, day, night, and then you can set up your weather and visibility information with that. That's kind of funny. I probably won't do that. I don't even remember that being in my copy, and I got it secondhand. So somebody probably had put it together, but didn't sell it to me along with. Right now, so unit counters reference sheet, movement types, right? Motorized, railroads, skis, artillery movement, right? So pretty detailed at that level. More unit marker and counter reference here. And right, a repeat basically, so both players have access to some information. Very nice. All right. Looky. Okay, so we had gotten an extra one. So this guy right here is a duplicate. That way both players have access to everything they need information-wise. Let's put that guy there. All right, so we have some organization sheets, simple. I was just looking at my new copy of Army Group Center, and man, that thing has a ton of organizational sheets, big, huge things. So this one we see is everything set up in the Panzer Corps style. Okay, and yeah, I'm just talking about all these various order of battle sheets. I think I was getting a little bit distracted, so I started mumbling and jabbering on. There's tons of good order of battle information here. Just keeps going and going and going. It's just awesome. Tons, obviously a monster game, like tons of pretty cool in the sense that you get transfer references, you got arrival information, right? Withdrawal information just loaded on here. A bit better than, just some kind of long list of here's units that, behave based upon game turn reference. And I'm not looking at any particular game company. I'll hold my tongue. Sometimes you just get, you know, booklet-based lists of things. And here's the turn record track and visibility info, air unit track here. Oh, eliminated units are tracked there. All right, tons of stuff here. Right? German record track, breakdown info. You get a nice little red dye right there. With these interior parts that we really don't need. Pull these out. I always get rid of my inserts. This is good for shipping, of course. It's good kindling right now, as far as I can see. And then we have, let's turn into my counter set. Let's check it out. These are pretty small counter sheets, you know, compared to something like from GMT Games or the old Avalon Hill even. Get this out of shrink wrap. Nice that it was so tightly positioned inside the shipping. Okay, and then we have nice little external, some cardboard for protection on both sides. Get that out of there. Flip this over. All right. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So there's 200 half-inch counters on a sheet. This first one is marked sheet number 1. All right, we have markers. There's 3 sheets of markers. Oh, and we just lost a counter. I'll pull that out in a sec. Ah, there it is, right here. Looks like a bridgehead. Okay. Gotta stick you back in there, huh? Yep. Oh, fortifications. So those are the markers. So we got 600 marker counters. Then in terms of units, right, goes up through. Interesting that I've got these sheets that are marked here, you know, first Ukrainian front 1 and 2, second Ukrainian front 1 and 2, that's 4 sheets. Second, there's 3, that's 5 sheets. Second Ukrainian 4, number 4 sheet in the second Ukrainian front, right? So 6 sheets. Right. Those down, that's 1,200 counters. Okay, then you have the 1st Panzer Army, the 8th Army, and the breakdown units. It's a pretty nice mat. They're not all thick, not too bad in terms of thin counters, but they aren't hugely thick. And look, they have been made. I wonder if we can see that okay. That there's these these little nibs on the sides of the counters. So that tells me I'm going to break out my my very nice set of X-Actos for the first step in cleaning up the counters. There's a little bit of a right registration on the back on those. They look pretty central in terms of the registry for the print job on the counters and the punching. So the die press looks like it's targeting things pretty nicely. I think everything looks pretty clean. You can see these counters look a tiny bit, registering leftwards. Not a big deal. It's going to be pretty nice game in terms of, say, look at let's kind of look at what a map. See this kind of brownish color. It's sort of a dark tan. So that's going to sit down on the sheet, looking pretty nice. Right, that's the Panzer Army, 8th Army breakdown counters. Not a lot of Germans here, right? And tons and tons of Soviet troops, of course, as you expect. And that's a kind of a dark. So you have kind of I don't know, I'd call it light gray. It registers next to this brown as sort of a tone of brown, but it's definitely gray. Because now you can see these Soviet counters are definitely more of a brown color. So I mean, once this looks, you know, out on the table, counter sitting on it, it's gonna have kind of a muted toning to it, I think. Kind of a bit of brightness on the mapping spots, right? You got the nice bright open hexes. This is pretty stark green and dark brown. Road net is dark brown, right? These things are gonna sit in a way that's, yeah, kind of, I'll call it muted a little bit, but you know, readable, and it'll be, you know, not like stark, we'll call it, you know, something to play with a bit and experiment with. Go through the rules pretty soon. I think we're going to try to play some ISS Vanguard in the week coming or so, but then I'll start punching and prepping my Korsun Pocket, and I'll go get a bunch of course, counter trays for all that. So lots to see here, lots to do, tons of great setup and organization cards. Keep everything orderly, let's say. And I like how the boxes have these background colors, right? So it kind of creates a little nice mixture in terms of just this, you know, you got white background and Ukrainian front army there. This one, see how white the background is? This is the 2nd Ukrainian Front, 4th Guards Army. And so a big part of the game, of course, is this setting things up, but it's so great to have this kind of tool available. And yeah, you know, sometimes, for instance, in a gamer's game, like we were playing a bit of Panzer Battles recently. Pretty simple SES game, right? Scenario information is just loaded in columns of text. But if you go to Board Game Geek under the files, you'll find people that do such great favors for us. You know, organizational types of sheets that are often scenario based, right? And just replicating this kind of design, and that's just a great resource. I say such deep thanks for people that, you know, dive into that kind of work and invest in our hobby. I think that's just wonderful. So there's Korsun Pocket. Just got it. Not a inexpensive game. I mean, given thousands of counters and lots of sheets and just a lot of player cards and so on. And of course, as little Stalingrad in the Dnepr, just a very fun, I think, to us when we were playing it, I remember long ago. I mean, we were really into, you know, the Russian campaign in the late 70s as you know, I think I was like 15 or 16 when we really got into Russian campaign. I remember my friend Chris just stomped on me this one time, and that just opened the door to let's play more Russian front games. And this was one of those, I forget, in the 80s sometimes when I think we latched onto it just to experiment and play around with it a little bit. Then college started and I got distracted, but it's so great that a company like PacRim would go back to Korsun Pocket and give us a new version. So kudos to them. And yeah, I'll get this video put up. So peace, everybody, and grace to you all. It's Deacon Mike signing off with a low-key video.